Hi, happy Friday. Friday's a Venus day, and Venus day is the ruler of Libra and Taurus, and I'm a Taurus, and I always promised myself I would help myself to be more visible on Fridays and try to become more comfortable being visible on Fridays. So, I'm really like moving through a lot right now. For those who are interested, like my session with Lisa yesterday was so fucking phenomenal. It's why I ended up not coming on and doing a live at 2 like I was hoping to talk about leaking energy, which I still want to do. I think it's really important to have that conversation about leaking energy, especially now, like with some of the things that have come up in that session with Lisa. Really powerful synchronicities for sure, but like owning things about myself that I was not willing to own before, like my fire energy and all of that. And so really to validate that, like the power that her and I were moving together and the alchemy that was happening in that conversation. 2 of my exes, my most powerful connections and unions, contacted me last night, both of them. And so, I mean, that is like huge confirmation that I was being felt in my deepest power. And so I actually reached out to her this morning for her assistance to move through the severing of one of those relationships. And it was intense because I found myself like approaching really strong and standing in my power. But the more I let him talk, the weaker I got. And the more I actually wanted to approach that with an open heart and hold that energy instead of like really standing in my own power and protecting myself, like wanting to stick up for myself. And that was so fucked up. And I felt myself caving and I was like, no, I'm not going to do this. And so I reached out to her for a lifeline. I'm like, please, I know this is so foreign. This is why it's uncomfortable, but can you help me with this? And she's like, I can tell just by the conversation that you're already saying like, it's not okay for you to have energetic access to me. It's not okay for you to tap in to me as an energetic source, or to even tap into my feels, my emotions, like what I'm moving through. It's not fucking okay. And I had the balls to call him out and say, I felt you drag me into one of your dimensions a couple weeks ago. Why? So like calling him out, and he didn't deny it. He literally came right back and was like, oh yeah, I was moving through some stuff and I was so stressed out. Like basically admitting to me, yeah, I needed you. And because I had no other way to get you, I dragged you to my dimension. And I was like, oh my God, like literally he's admitting it. And I'm just like, what do I do? And so I had to behave in a way I never behave, like more like Kali than I've ever behaved with someone that I've loved. So it was hard. Anyway, the Ascended Masters that came up for me today. Yeah. So Brigitte says, my inner strength. And look at that fiery red hair. Holy smokes. Like, yes, I got that, sister. Like, yeah. And then overcoming difficulties. This showed up yesterday. So I was like, whoa. And it showed up yesterday and again today. So that's Archangel Jeremiel. And so, yeah, I'm past the worst of it, right? That's what it said yesterday. And today was intense. And then Buddha. And so Buddha is not a big old fat jovial man. That's like the laughing Buddha. This is the actual Buddha. He actually went a long while without nutrition to make that sacrifice for his physical body. The temptress showed up, which is very interesting. So when she shows up, what the message that she brings is, be careful of all that you're being shown, that it's not the truth of what it really is. So all that glitters is not gold, basically. Like this is the message of Temptress, but also that I am endowed with the wisdom of discernment. So stand strong in that. Like, I already know the truth of it. So just speak that truth. And that's hard, right? And then nothing is set in stone. So when nothing is set in stone shows up, it's a mutable moon. This talks about I am the writer of my reality. Nothing is set in stone. And on some level, I believe that. I believe it happens in the planning stage, but now that I'm in it, especially since this is my last human inception, I really don't feel like I have any control over that. The only thing I can control is the way that I behave in those scenarios. And so the sacred geometry that showed up today is the invitation. This talks about going to other dimensions. So that was interesting that showed up, right? Because that's exactly what I called him out on. Like, don't be pulling me into your shit. And he's always in conflict. That's his deep blueprint, is conflict. So even in his physical experience, it's always like fighting, right? So he was a cage fighter, and now it's just like this deep rage, and he's trying to process it physically, but really it's in here, it's all internal. And so when he sleeps, even his dreams are like war and apocalypse. And he dragged me in to that in the astral, and it was like this abandoned industrial park, and I knew right away, I was like, this is not mine. And then right away he was there. And I haven't seen him in more than a month, but I said, why did you do that? And then I felt you. You were really thin. And so he admitted it, like what he had been going through. It's fucked up. But anyway, so I did a lot of things that were powerful in that conversation. I called him out and I owned my intuition, but I wasn't strong enough to speak the power. So I did. I basically said, like, you don't get to do this. You don't get to use me. And just because you don't have access to me in the physical, you don't get to use me in the ether. And that ends now. And I don't have the balls to go back and see if he responded. I just want to sit in that, because I was literally convulsing after I had done it. Not out of fear, but I could feel the immense power moving through my physical body, that I was literally trembling with potential power. I felt that. It was really amazing. And so this came up. Time to go. And the message of time to go is seeing things to completion. So, I mean, ta-da! You want to talk about synchronicity of Sherry's life? Like, I pulled that right after I noticed he messaged me. And then Sugar Light talks about dreams. So literally, I mean, the synchronicity of this spread, like, holy fuck. You can't get any more cohesive than that with my experiences. And when you are aligned, that's what happens. Like, everything reveals itself in such a powerful way. Oh, I didn't take out my Sugar Light to share. Let me do that so you can actually see the Sugar Light, because I do have a beautiful piece. This is raw, and it's actually all raw, but this had this beautiful diamond, like this navy blue black diamond in the center of it. And I was like, whoa, I have to have that. So this is a big old chunk of Sugar Light. And these are like gemmy pieces, grade A, triple A. So really expensive for these little shards. But I like using these for grids. And so this talks about the dream state. And the dream state is very powerful for me. That's actually where I commune with spirit. And he knew that about me because we had been together, communing together for about a year. And so he knew that about me. And so it's messed up to use the knowledge that you have of me against me or for your own benefits. Jacked up. Anyway, the Pearl of Charo talks about the difficulty that we go through is actually for our gift, and that we are endowed with grace through that difficulty. So the pearl, just like the clam, right, or the oyster, sorry, taking that agitation of the sand and wrapping its own saliva around it and creating this pearl, which is this precious thing. And so that's what it talks about, finding the benefit in the agitation. So that is what I move through. Did I share all my cards? Oh, the rune. And I got Lagus again. And we talked about this moving through the emotion. And so water teaches us so much, like how to go with the flow, how to express the emotion, how to allow that emotion to move through us. Like literally before I had even sent that message, because I didn't want to respond with ego, I stepped away from the message for a minute. And so I had to feel into that, and I literally felt like I was gonna vomit. And then I felt this deep like churning in my sacral. And Lisa like talked me down from the ledge, and she's like, this is exactly what we were talking about. It's no mistake that he reached out to you, especially after what we were moving through and alchemizing yesterday, just our conversation, like the power of our conversation, and the like the illumination of my own self being witnessed through her. And so it was very powerful. And so, yeah, it's no coincidence that great challenges come on the tail end of that, of those new, what is the word I'm trying to think of? Like the things that are revealed to us, really, like, so anyhow, that is what I moved through. And I ended up working until like 9 p.m. last night. And then I had dinner with a beautiful friend, and that was lovely, but it was intense. I was still moving through stuff even when I got home. And so, wow. And I'm still going to be processing for days, I feel, because there are new rabbit holes I want to go through with the information that she gave me, like things I was trying to repress about myself. And so when you learn new things about yourself and new things are revealed to you, don't fear them. Like I didn't reject it at all. I listened to her, and it was actually easier for me to embrace because I know she loves me and we've been friends for years. So it was easier. Like when I had heard my Mayan chart, my Mayan calendar, and I was told I was an Aries, I was like, okay, that doesn't really resonate. And they're like, yeah, you're really fire. And I'm like, And then when I had my Vedic chart done, and he was like, you're a Leo, Aries exalted. And I'm like, doesn't resonate. And I'm a Taurus, Scorpio rising. And so I always knew that there was this deep brooding energy that felt like literally like dormant potential of a volcano constantly, like this like lava, volcanic potential, like, running through me. And she said, that's the fire. Like Scorpio is actually fire in its highest aspects. Like when you, and which you are, because I see you in the highest aspects of your spiritual path, it is pure fire. It's the phoenix. And I'm like, whoa. So it's specifically the Scorpio ascendant, which has that phoenix aspect. So not necessarily the Scorpio sun. And so I was like, wait a second. Oh my God, now I really have to own it. And then when she showed me in my chart, like, look, these are the elementals in your chart. And these are the fixed signs. These are the cardinal signs. These are the mutable signs. And when you laid it out like that and it was color coded and I saw like heavily fire, I was like, I can't deny it now. Holy fuck. Like when she really like I felt exposed. And so obviously, because bearing it all and becoming vulnerable in that, and then having those two reach out to me yesterday was like, so I'm sharing that, and I'm meant to share it. And anybody who goes away, fuck it. I'm supposed to say what I'm supposed to say, and if it rubs people the wrong way, And if you stay because it resonates, high five to my bitches, to my boys. Like, mwah! Thank you. Love you. Thank you for sharing this time and space with me and gifting me your most valuable commodities, your time and your energy. Thank you. I love you. And I am sorry for any disharmony that I myself have created. Please forgive me. Thank you for this opportunity. I love you. I love you. I love you.